Well, hello, everybody. Thank you, Chi. This is one of those moments to savor. Here today with you and with Christine, and with Nell, here to celebrate MacDowell and to honor Alanis. When Metal Days logistics unfold without you even noticing them, that is thanks to MacDowell's small but mighty staff. I'd like to mention events manager Brett Solomon, who's in the house, and Dan Milbauer, who is also is based here in Peterborough. And the rest of my colleagues are working beyond the perimeter of the tent, so you'll need to be emphatic if you want them to hear you in saying thank you. That's good. I couldn't have said it better myself. Well, I'm just delighted to see a lot of familiar faces and a lot of new faces. The veterans in the crowd, I know, will have already plotted a strategic course through the open studios after lunch today. Some of you with the sharpest eyes might have noticed that in place of Kirby Studio, Zorn Studio has suddenly appeared. And it was just last evening that we renamed that studio in honor of past chairman of MacDowell's board of directors, 14-time fellow and brilliantly genre-defying writer, Michael Chabon. And happily, Michael is in the house today, together with writer and essayist and multi-time fellow Ayelet Waldman. They have made the long journey to be with us today. And when I see Michael under a big tent on a hot summer day, I start to wax nostalgic. There are past metal days with Rollins, Sondheim, Morrison, and more. And now what I have written down here, I'm going to have to ad-lib because I said, leaning in his linen-clad elbow on this very lectern, but this is a different lectern. Michael's words took us places we never thought we would go. He was provocative and irreverent. He saw that the MacDowell portion of this program could sometimes become, how do you say, a little self-congratulatory. So he once mocked this august organization for seeming, and I quote, to have been founded on the idea that writers and artists are a bunch of prima donna, hothouse flowers, so gifted at finding excuses not to work that they actually need to be removed from the general population and isolated under the watchful gaze of benevolent minders. And I just thought, God, I wish I'd written that. So during Michael's chairmanship, charitable gifts to MacDowell topped $36 million. 12 of that went into permanently restricted funds for the future. Michael and Ayelet worked as a team to help raise MacDowell's national profile. And seeing Michael last night, I realized that during the most intense period of his writing career, he was prioritizing MacDowell, giving his time to support artists he would almost surely never meet. So raising operating funds for an organization fits with the metaphor of the Renaissance masons and craftsmen who would labor for decades and never see the finished cathedral. And MacDowell, in a similar sense, will never be complete because we're not building a grand structure. We're building a community. And that includes artists, staff, and board, and everyone who's here under the tent today. Whether you've come here because you read about MacDowell in an author's acknowledgement, or if you came to meet a medalist who changed the way you view the world, it doesn't matter how you got here. It doesn't matter how you found us. What matters is that you're here, and MacDowell keeps expanding. During Michael's last year as board chair, Ayelet led a campaign to raise funds in his honor, and since then, there's been an annual Writers' Fellowship that will go on in perpetuity, and we were inspired last night to name Van Zorn Studio. And I bet you thought I had forgotten all about Van Zorn Studio. So, given our time constraints, I'll share only that August Van Zorn first appeared in 1995 in the opening sentence of Wonder Boys. Now pay close attention, there will be a quiz after lunch. The novel's narrator, Grady Tripp, opens the book with praise for a crusty English professor who had, under the pen name Van Zorn, published countless tales of horror in the mode of Edgar Allan Poe and H.P. Lovecraft. In subsequent years, Michael extended the ruse to levels never achieved by even the FBI's most advanced efforts at the Witness Protection Program. In '97, a tale of horror by August Van Zorn, In the Black Mill, was published in a major magazine, and not long after, a Van Zorn scholar posted a complete Van Zorn bibliography on an obscure website. It was that Van Zorn scholar by the name of Leon Chaim Bach who also declared that August Van Zorn was, and I quote, "without question, the greatest unknown horror writer of the 20th century." So with today being Van Zorn Studio's public debut, and everybody now under the tent now in on the secret, you're all sworn in as members of the MacDowell community. So on behalf of all of the future fellows, and if you would stand for one more second, Michael and Ayelet. Thank you.